guys, I'm wearing this corset today and I don't know if it was a good idea. Was it a good idea? Was it not? Who gives a fuckerino? Hey guys, kia ora, kia ora, kia ora, whakalofala here tu e no mai hoki mai. Welcome back to this week's podcast episode. I'm so excited that you are here. Thank you for being here. This week's podcast episode is all about birthday trauma. A couple of weeks ago, actually, at the start of the month now, I had my 31st birthday, and oh my gosh, I went through a lot during that time. It's so funny, like, if you think back to where you were a couple of weeks ago, even like days ago, I look back and I'm like, fuck, that feels like a whole different time. Because at that time, I felt like my fucking world was crumbling down. It was actually really crazy, a really, really emotional time. And I'm so glad that I do this work. I do the work that I do because it could have went one of two ways. You know, I could have processed it. I could have came to the realizations that I'm about to share today, and work through it, or I could have fucking fucked all the shit up, numbed out and all the things. You know, it could have really went left, you know, caused problems in my relationships and, you know, not being able to do my business. Like, I could have went down on a downward spiral even further. So, y'all know I am heavy on this work, and it's so important to do this work because no matter where you are in your life, if you've been doing this for 7 years, if you're doing it for 1 year, if you're just starting out, if you've been doing it for 15 years, you're always learning. There's always something to heal. It's a fucking journey. It's a lifelong journey. This whole healing, doing the work, you know, it's a forever thing. So if I think about where I was at the start of the month, my best friend, she actually came from New Zealand to hang out with me for my birthday and spend some time here. She hadn't been here in years. And when I saw her, like, there were just so many things coming up, and I just had like this cry because at the time it was my birthday, so I was going through some birthday trauma, which was what I've named it after going through that experience. And I always get quite emotional around my birthdays, and I think this year was the first year where I really actually identified and gave my time to those emotions and really picked apart why I was feeling this type of way and all the things, right? It all made sense. So there was that. There was stuff going on with my work at the time, just like really hating being in the workplace and feeling like I should be over there, but I'm over here right now. And I'm like, I should be there though. You know, really fighting with reality. But I'm also happy to tell you guys I'm going part-time in my job. If you're ever feeling like, you know, you hate your job so much, you want to do something about it, or you want to move jobs, or like you just hate that place, please do something about it. I'm just going to take a lozenge. I'm so sorry. I've been sick, y'all. I've been sick. Metz has broke his hand. It's all happening here. But we're good. So yeah, I was really going through that, struggling with where I was in life and where I thought I should be. And I feel like sometimes that comes up when it gets to your birthday as well. You reflect on your years. Like, am I doing good enough? Am I, you know? So that was a thing. But luckily, I worked it out with my job. And I'm going part-time. So that's another big fat news that I want to share with you guys. Which is so exciting, right? Because we're halfway through the year. My goal is to become full-time in the Polynesian life coach by the end of the year. And I'm going part-time now, and it's June, so I'm halfway there. I'm right on track, you know, to my goals. So it's really, really good news. I was going through that. And then I was really struggling with the reality of life in itself, right? Because there's a lot going on in the world. There's so many things happening around the world. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of people dying. There's a lot of injustice in the world. I spent a lot of time. I feel like I was also reflecting on just life. So there was a point where I was like, I want to be here. I want to be in the future. I want to be full-time in TPLC. I want to be on more stages. I want to be speaking to more guests and just making more of an impact in the world, doing these amazing, incredible things. There's also gratitude for where I am in this moment. But there was also like a deep sadness for people who are worse off than me, for the people who are dying, for the people who are hungry, the people that don't have shelter, all these other things. One thing with social media is when you start watching certain things, the algorithm knows, right? So when you start getting into looking into all these things and donating and signing petitions and all that, that's what's going to keep coming up. And this was on TikTok for me. So I was getting really involved, finding these GoFundMes, sending off money, doing all these things, signing petitions. And then there was a point where that's all I would see on my TikTok. And it's like, you open up the app and you see all these things. You feel like, guilt. What can I do? You feel so helpless. You feel like, fuck, I'm looking around my life. And I'm like, I want to be there. I want to be in the future. I want all these other things. But then I'm also like grateful, but I want more. But then there's other people who I'm like, fuck, like I'm I really felt like a shitty person because I have all these amazing things in my life and I want more. And it's like, these people don't even have the basic necessities or the basic needs, right? So I was really battling through all of that. And I actually had to pull myself away from social media because it was taking a toll on me. And it always does, because when I get into something, I get so laser focused on how can we make things better, what actions can we take, what can I do, I take it on. It was at the detriment to myself and my life, and I was really going in a downward spiral, right? So I share that to let you know where I was at, but also if you are a person who feels guilt because there are so many things going on in this world and you feel like you don't know what to do and you feel helpless, but you also need to protect your own energy, I feel you. And I think there's no right or wrong way to go about everything that's happening in the world. Do what you need to do. Protect your energy first. Fill your cup first. And then anything overflowing, give to others. So I've shared this with a few people, and after sharing it, a lot of people are like, oh, I feel you on that, or like, I can relate, they have similar experiences. And every year when it comes to my birthday, I do get quite emotional. And there's things like, you think about like unmet expectations, right? You have these huge expectations and then they don't get met. Or you have traumatic experiences in the past, or you have that feeling of like loneliness or unworthiness, when it comes to your birthday. So for me, I had to really figure out why I was feeling these ways when it came to my birthday. Why was I crying at a drop of a hat? Somebody would ask me how I am. I had an event the day before my birthday, and someone asked me how I was, and I just started crying. Like, it was just a lot. It was a lot in there. And this year I really opened up, like, what is it in there? And I've worked on my stuff for a very long time now. Well, I say a very long time, but I also feel like I'm only getting started. But growing up, there was a lot of feelings of abandonment or neglect, right? There was a lot of feelings of neglect. And I think about my birthdays, and although I did have some really, really great birthdays, I can remember when my parents were together, I had some really, really good birthdays. My dad would spoil me. It's like I was thinking, when I was going through everything, I was thinking of those times where I remember seeing pictures and there's like birthday cake and you're having a birthday at home with like the neighborhood kids and stuff like that. Like, how fucking beautiful. And then I remember another time when I got all these gifts. We were sitting around the kitchen table. It was actually like, you know, those table and chairs, those green plastic table and chairs you have outside. Well, my family had it inside in the house. It was our dining like table. We're all sitting around the table. My mum, my dad. It was just my older brother, my older sister, me, and then my younger sister Cherub at the time. She was a little girl. They had wrapped all the presents and put them in the kitchen. And my dad was like, "Oh, go get the presents to my little sister." And my little sister was like, "The whiteboard one." Like, and then we're all like laughing, like, because she was telling me what all the presents were. And then he's like, yeah, just whatever. She's like, "The camera one," or whatever it was. I can't remember what they were at the time. Shit like that. It's like funny, cool memories, right? So don't get me wrong. They were great memories. But I think a lot of the times when it comes to memories, we always remember the bad shit. And sometimes we have to dig harder to find the good things. So a lot of those good times were overshadowed by times I remember where my birthday was missed. You know, they forgot about my birthday, or I was left at school on my birthday till nighttime. You know, nobody came and picked us up from school, right? So, you know, you got left behind. Or I remember another birthday just crying because I think my dad wouldn't let me go out or something like that, but he forgot it was my birthday that day. And then I remember other times where I would plan my own birthdays because I was like, fuck this, I'm sick of getting so disappointed. But then on my birthdays, like, my best friend wouldn't show up, or like people wouldn't show, or someone would get really, really drunk and ruin my birthday, or it didn't go how I planned. You know, there was dramas and all these things, right? Or somebody didn't wish you, you know, all those kinds of things. Like, they kind of build up. And although sometimes they're like little things, like, you know, just someone not wishing you happy birthday, or your best friend not coming to your 21st, like stuff like that. They might seem like little things to some people, but it's like they build up over time, right? Everything builds up. So this year, when I was really, really emotional, I was like, what's going on, Leash? Like, what's happening here? Like, let's take a moment and figure out what's going on. And I was kind of backtracking to figure out what was going on. I feel like from as young as I can remember, when I started working, I would celebrate my own birthday. So I would do my own thing. And then celebrate my own birthday. Oh my gosh, I also remember a time when I had a sweet 16th. And my sister paid for everything. And it was an epic time. It was a huge birthday. There were like heaps, like half my school was there. Like just shit like that. My mum gave me $500, which I was like, holy shit, because we were like living in state housing and shit. So I had all this money and all these people turned up. So like cool times as well. But from as young as I can remember, I was celebrating my own birthdays, doing my own things. And usually, like, as an adult, I would celebrate something for myself. So I would, you know, buy myself something like a retreat or something, or buy myself a gift, like a really big gift. Or, you know, I'd always make sure that I had something for myself that I wouldn't be disappointed, you know, so that there weren't no birthday gifts. So that I, you know, so this year I actually forgot, like, with everything that's kind of happening in my life, there's a lot happening. Grateful. And I kind of forgot to buy myself a gift. And I realized that this birthday, my 31st birthday, was the first year where I didn't try and take control of the birthday. I didn't plan what we were doing. I didn't plan any activities. I didn't plan presents. I didn't buy myself gifts in advance and shit, because I just forgot about it, right? So it was like I let go of the control and everything like that. And then on my birthday, or even the night before my birthday, I came home from an event. Metz had decorated the house, which is something he does this every year, right? Since we've been together. He decorated the house, had all these gifts for me, all the things, and I was just so emotional because even though he's done this for me for, how long have we been together? Like 6-7 years. This year was the year where it, like, actually was like, wow, like, I have such an incredible man. Like, I can let go of all the trauma, all the built up trauma over the years of feeling neglected and alone, and like nobody was there for me, right? And as much as I talk about you need to be there for yourself, which I truly believe that I am there for myself. I do see and hear myself and all the things. I give what I need to myself. It was just beautiful to see, like, the love of my life, like, this man show up for me, right? And I was just like, holy shit, like, and it's not even about, like, the gifts and stuff like that. It's just about, like, letting go of that control, letting go of the worry. There's this worry that, like, are they gonna forget? Is everyone gonna forget that it's my birthday? Like, is no one gonna show up? Am I gonna be alone? Am I gonna celebrate this birthday alone? And even that night when I went to bed, I woke up the next day, which was my birthday, and I had this dream that night that all my family forgot about my birthday. And I woke up and I opened the family group chat, and everyone was saying, happy birthday. And I was like, I even told them in there, I was like, thank you guys so much, because I just had a dream you guys forgot. Like, that would break my heart if they forgot. It was my birthday, even though, because they live in New Zealand, right? But it was just that I think that my 31st birthday, that moment, was just that release of the control of having to put on everything for me. And, like, I can just, like, trust that you'll be okay. And people will remember you, Leash, and you won't be neglected, and you won't be abandoned, and you won't be alone on your special day. But I share all this story, and I didn't know I was going to get so emotional. But this is a part of it, right? This is a part of the process of undoing the trauma that has been built up as a kid or over the years, even when I wasn't a kid. This is a part of undoing it all, right? This is a part of healing, the trauma. So if you feel me in this, I want to share with you some tips to help you have a better birthday, to work on the birthday trauma, to not be so caught up and feeling like you have to be celebrated like everyone else as well. Because I think there's a part you see in society how birthdays are. And growing up, birthdays were the only celebration we had, right? We didn't celebrate Christmas, Easter, any holidays. It was only birthdays. So they meant the world to me. Like, birthdays actually mean a lot to me. And I know to some other people they don't mean much. But to me, it was like, that's all I had. That was the only celebration I had of myself. And sometimes we want to be celebrated, right? That's our day of birth. We want to be celebrated. Another year at life. Fuck, that's amazing. A lot of people don't get to 31, so fuck, I'm going to celebrate this. I'm going to make a big deal out of it because it is a big deal, right? And even Matt's like, he doesn't really care for his birthday, but low-key, I celebrate it every year, and low-key, I'm like, I know you care for this. But he says he doesn't. So my tips would be, 1, to create your own birthdays. Sometimes we do have a lot of expectations for our birthdays, and if you create your own birthday, you won't have those expectations not met. Things like what does birthday mean to you, right? Like, what is the reason why you want these things? Like, a lot of people see birthdays online who get these designer bags and all these things, and they're like, that's what I want. I want a birthday like that. It's like, why? Why do you want a birthday like that? So you can put it all on social media and look rich for social media, right? It's like, what do you actually want? Not what society tells you a birthday should look like. What do you want? And one thing I also realized this year is that I actually don't like cake. And this year I did a brownie for Metz's birthday because he loves brownies. But I'm like, why do we don't have to have cake at our birthday. If you don't like cake, you don't have to have cake. You get to choose how you want your birthday to be. So for a lot of years, and also another thing for me is that I don't want to party. I don't want like parties and drinking and all. That's not me. Right? So it's create your own birthday. What do you want your birthday to look like? And then do it for yourself. You know, maybe you take yourself away on a holiday. Maybe you go on a retreat by yourself. You book in at a hotel by yourself. Do something for yourself, buy yourself your presents, so that you don't have these expectations or your disappointment, right, on your birthday. So create your own birthday and what you want. Do it for yourself, as always. And then I think that also helps with like cutting that expectation, right? So don't expect anything from anyone. Don't expect people to wish you happy birthday. You know, think about how you are on birthdays sometimes. Like this year, I realized that sometimes I don't even say happy birthday to people. And it's not because I purposely don't do it. I just, like, sometimes I forget. I don't know. I don't remember, you know? And it's like, oh, like sometimes I'm like, oh, I can give a little grace to people who miss mine, right? So have a little bit of a grace. But don't have those expectations. And then when someone does give you a present, it's like, holy shit, that's a bonus. Like everything's a bonus. Everything's amazing, right? So for me, my work gave me a gift card, like a voucher, with a lot of money on it. And I was like, whoa, like I was so like, wow, because I didn't expect anything from them. And then for them to do that, I was like, oh, this is so lovely. Like, thank you so much. You know, my sisters from New Zealand, my younger sisters, sent me a jumper, and it said something I wanted for a long time, orange jumper. And they heard me say it one time, and they remembered. And then when I got it, I was like, oh my gosh, like it was like this huge thing, because it meant the world to me. Like that was a bonus. So no expectations, everything else is a bonus. And then also we need to work through those traumatic experiences with a professional, right? Maybe it's a coach, a therapist, a life coach, a mentor, whatever. Work with a professional to help you work through that trauma, you know. And I had a conversation with the client the other day where we were talking about trauma, and she was just saying like how it's so bad and all the things. And for me personally, I don't see trauma as a bad thing, which trauma in itself, like a traumatic experience has happened. Something in your body has happened, right? From an experience, things in your body, right? And people see it as like a really, really bad thing. But I think because people see it as such a bad thing, they don't talk about it and they don't do anything about it, and they hide it in shame and pain. So I'm like, let's change what trauma means to you. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. Birthday trauma isn't so much a bad thing. It's a part of my life and I'm healing it, and it's okay. And I don't wish anything else was different, because it wouldn't make me who I am today, and I wouldn't have the experiences that I have on my birthday. Don't get me wrong, I have fucking incredible birthdays, you know, but this is a realization, a revelation along the way that I've realized. So I don't wish anything was done differently, but that's what happened. And now I'm sharing it with you guys, right? I'm sharing my experiences because I know so many people can resonate and relate. So please don't try and not see it as a bad thing. It's a part of healing. It's a part of who you are. And if it's a loneliness you're feeling, maybe you have to go out there and build great connections. You know, you have to go out there and make friends and build these really, really cool relationships. Maybe that's a sign to realize, oh shit, I actually do want friends. I want to find a partner. I want to find the love of my life, all these things. And if that's a bit of you, I want you to go listen to the podcast. There's a whole series, relationship series. So listen to the ones on friends, on finding a partner and all those things. That's what I'd highly, highly recommend. Maybe there's some work that you need to do on yourself. You know, there was a part of me where I realized, and this is real talk, where I realized like, oh, why do I care so much for people to remember my birthday? You know, what does that mean? You know, if people don't post that it's my birthday, or, you know, I was thinking like when people have birthdays, they get these shout outs, right? And then people repost. You know, there's so many people shouting them out on social media and reposting and all these things. And I was like, oh, like that would have been nice. It's like, why do I care so much for that? You know, why am I seeking? Why does, like, if someone did post that, what does it make that mean to me? Oh, that I'm a good person, that I've impacted that person's life. It's like, no, know who you are. Know that you're a good person. You have impacted people's lives, you know, and just because they didn't post, or if they do post, it doesn't make any difference to your worthiness and who you are, right? If no one posts about you, that don't mean shit. You're still worthy. It's your birthright, right? So, yeah, there was a part of me where I was thinking, oh, shit. You know, even if only one person says happy birthday, or if you post your birthday picture and only one person says happy birthday, like, allow that to be okay. Like, what are you seeking outside of you? What do you need outside of you that's not within, right? So that's also, you know, in these moments, that's also something to think about when you're upset about something when it comes to your birthday. But I wanted to share this because I know so many people will relate. And I also want you to know that I'm also doing the work, and it's a lifelong journey of doing this work. And I don't have it all figured out. I'm still going through it. And you'll find as well, when you work through one thing, sometimes it comes up later on in life. And then you realize, oh, there's still more work to be done on that. And I thought I was good on the birthdays. But then I realized this year there's more work to be done. And who knows, next year there might be also. You know, who fucking knows? This shit it's a lifelong journey. But thank you for listening. I love you. Ka kite. Koe kia.